think they know we're here.
I see enemy!
It seems like these days that realistic tactical shooters are on the rise. For every new FPS title that is released that features wall running and over-the-top gadgets and abilities, a realism-based game comes along right on its heels. But one game is seeking to take realistic tactical simulation to the next level: Ground Branch. To me, Ground Branch feels like a sort of spiritual successor to the SWAT series of games that I played when I was young. And while the game definitely needs to fill in quite a bit more gameplay, polish, content, and so on, what they've created so far is quite impressive to say the least. So what's this game all about? Before hopping into a game, you'll first want to customize your operator, and even though the game is in a pre-alpha state, there's quite a bit of customizing to do. And although there's already a large selection of cosmetic items and skins to choose from, not everything here is just for playing tactical dress-up. The plate carrier or battle belt that you choose can be modified so that you can add or remove different kinds of pouches that will allow you to carry in more grenades or more ammunition depending on what type of mission you plan on running. For example, if you're running a close quarters mission that requires you to carefully clear an area room by room, you may want to bring more flash or fragmentation grenades. But if you're heading into a very open area with lots of enemies, you may want to bring more magazine pouches. This level of customization gives you quite a lot of freedom with how you'd like to run your missions. Next up is everyone's favorite part: gun customization. There's already quite a lot of guns to choose from in Ground Branch, and while I wouldn't say that the gun building in this game is as extensive as Escape from Tarkov, it does have one feature that I find very, very interesting. When you select an attachment for your rifle, you can actually choose which rail slot it will be occupying. This level of customization lets you fine-tune the eye relief on optics, or you can make sure that a flashlight won't be obstructed by your muzzle device. There's a huge range of optics available in the game right now, but only a limited amount of grips and other tactical devices, but I'm quite certain that this will be expanded upon in the future. The last thing that you should do before dropping into a mission is swinging by a test or shooting range and getting familiar with the unique movement system. Ground Branch takes a highly realistic approach to movement that I really wish more tactical shooters would embrace. Rather than running around with your gun always stuck in your face, which is both dangerous for friendlies around you, as well as extremely taxing on your arm stamina, Ground Branch hinders your movement speed significantly when holding your rifle in a ready stance, and instead encourages you to bring your rifle to a high or low ready to move quickly. You can still aim down your sights while in these stances, but it just takes an extra moment or two to bring your rifle up. There is also a fairly realistic stamina system that will penalize you for sprinting around too much. After sprinting or jumping several times, your operator will start to breathe heavily and your accuracy will diminish. Again, this is highly realistic considering the amount of gear, armor, and ammo that your character is carrying. Okay, so you've got the basics figured out. So what makes Ground Branch so special? In most game modes, you'll be clearing out enemies from an area and maybe collecting an objective and extracting with it. And while the enemy AI isn't exactly some kind of groundbreaking new technology, for being a pre-alpha, I have to say that it's pretty good. I've spectated matches after I've died and watched my teammates approach an enemy area. When they come within hearing distance, the AI will notice you and then start to slowly orient themselves in your direction, even leaning around corners and taking cover, or slowly peeking around cover to try to find you. I was immediately impressed when a few enemies almost looked as if they were behaving as a real player. Once you get into the higher AI difficulties, however, Ground Branch does need a little refinement. The AI begins to develop a spider sense and notice or spot you despite the fact that you've tried to remain quiet and hidden. Also, the higher AI difficulty gets, the more they begin to seem like they have an aimbot and just instantly kill you the moment they can see you. I'm dead.
Yep.
So far, I've had the most fun on the trained difficulty of the AI, and I hope that the harder AI gets more refinement in the future. But just because the AI isn't on the highest difficulty doesn't mean the Ground Branch is a walk in the park. Even on lower difficulties, some missions may take several retries before you can finally figure out a tactic that works, which is very promising for the game in the future. Lastly, let's cover visual and audio fidelity. The graphics in Ground Branch are actually pretty good for a modern FPS title. The textures, models, and animations are all above average in my opinion. Some of the outdoor maps that feature long sight lines are when the game shows a definite need of improvement. The anti-aliasing at long range shows signs of needing work, and distant objects can appear blurry or having very rough edges. The audio fidelity is top-notch, however, and any of you with experience shooting firearms will instantly fall in love with the high levels of realism and attention to detail. The sounds of guns firing and bullet impacts might be the most realistic I've ever heard in an FPS game, and you can even distinctly hear when a bullet penetrates a light barrier such as plywood, then penetrates another barrier behind it. Distant gunfire all sounds highly realistic and amazing, and it's honestly the most satisfying audio I've ever heard in a shooter game. That being said, the game would benefit from some ambient noise. Thankfully, there's not a constant 40-mile-per-hour wind noise like in Tarkov, but some maps are a little too quiet. Make sure you set your audio quality to high and enable binaural audio. If I had to critique one thing about the audio, it would be the footstep location in a 3D space. If you're in a multi-level building and your friends or the AI are shuffling around, it's nearly impossible to tell if it's above you, below you, or on your level, so further refinement is definitely needed here. Ground Branch definitely needs more content and additional scenarios to really tie it together to become a full game, but what it currently has so far is extremely promising. I have no doubt whatsoever that this game will evolve over the next few years into one of the leading tactical shooters, as the developers fill out more content, fix issues, and round the game out into whatever they envision it to be. But don't let its pre-alpha status keep you from trying it out. You can absolutely sink quite a few hours into the game as is, and if you don't mind playing a game that's still under active development and you enjoy realism-based shooters, you should absolutely give this one a try. If you'd like to see a video of me running a difficult scenario in its entirety to get a better idea of what the game is like, let me know in the comments and I'd be glad to upload it. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm kind of Tarkov'd out right now until next wipe. And I've been exploring all kinds of other games, from Ground Branch to Squad, to even more casual games like Star Wars: The Old Republic and Star Citizen. If you guys would like to see videos on any of those games, let me know in the comments and I'd love to share my experiences with you. As always, thanks so much for the support, guys, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Until next time, I'm Jeff with EUL Gaming. Good luck out there.